Which one of the following describes a preference that is most analogous to the preference mentioned in the first paragraph of passage A? The question here is asking us to find an analogous preference to a preference that's mentioned in first paragraph of passage A. First step, before we look at the choices at all, is to head up and find that preference that's mentioned in the first paragraph of passage A. Let's do it. In music, a certain complexity of sounds can be expected to have a positive effect on the listener. A single pure tone is not that interesting. A measure of intricacy is required to excite human curiosity. Sounds that are too complex or disorganized, however, are overwhelming. We prefer, okay, this is what we're looking for, we prefer some sort of coherence, a principle that connects the various sounds and makes them comprehensible. Okay, before we go and look at the choices, we want to put in our head the essence of what this preference is. We prefer coherence rather than things that are too simple. We don't want a single pure tone. That's not interesting. We want a little bit of intricacy, but more than anything, we want something that is coherent. We'll go and we'll find something that looks like that. Let's go. A. The preference of some people for falling asleep to white noise, such as the sound of an electric fan. No, we're looking for our preference for things that are coherent and have some level of complexity. This isn't complex at all. B. The preference of many moviegoers for movies with plots that are clear and easy to follow. Clear and easy to follow? That sounds like coherence to me. This might be the answer. Let's keep on looking. The preference of many diners for restaurants that serve large portions. So for the music analogy, it would be like people like a lot of music, as opposed to a lot of food for diners. That's not what we're talking about. D. The preference of many young listeners for fast music over slower music. So fast versus slow, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about something that is coherent. And the music in this choice, I'll add, is a little bit of a distraction. You need to be careful about choosing choices that have words that remind you of the question or words that remind you of a passage, especially when we're talking about analogies questions. E. The preference of most children for sweet foods over bitter foods. So sweet and bitter are just different tastes. We're not talking about that in this preference. We're talking about things that are coherent or clear and easy to follow. Our answer is B.